Hello YouTube, Joseph Crackmore here, and yeah, my second video, my decks have finally come. It's been a long time since my first one. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. It took me a long time to get all the cards I needed, and the time has come to reveal the deck. Deskbots. Specifically the Deskbot OTK deck that Hard Leg Gaming made, and I used and made my own version of that deck because I'm going to be using the OTK deck. The deck where you get all the attack you need with Deskbot 9 and attack your opponent with one turn. So for monsters, I have two Deskbot 1s. He's your tuner of the bunch, and that's why I'm only playing synchros in this deck. I hesitated to play just the Deskbot synchro, but I was like, there were so many other options in case you needed those options, so I figured why not. Next, we're playing 3 Deskbot 2s. This card is very important, especially when summoned by the effect of the next card, which is Deskbot 3. What you do is you normal summon 3 to the field. You activate his effect to summon one from my deck. You would summon an extra 3 because it triggers, it's not once per turn, so you summon another 3, and then you activate his effect and you summon 2. You add Deskbot 9 to your hand with 2's effect, so that way you're ready for the OTK. Next, we have 3 Deskbot 4s. He's a pretty good card. Overall, especially his last effect when it says, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, summon 2 Deskbots with different levels from your hand or graveyard. So that's a really good thing. Then we have our pendulums. We have 3 of each scale, 3 Deskbot 5s. And we have a searcher for these pendulums, and it's not the typical, but you'll see. Deskbot 5 is really good. All the Deskbots have the same pendulum effect. You can only pendulum summon Deskbot monsters, but we already kind of knew that. 5 is really good because you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it when it's summoned, so that's really good. And 3 Deskbot 6, he's the 1 scale, 5 is the 10 scale. Lets you pendulum summon Deskbot 9, of course. And when this guy's summoned, you can target a monster on the field and change its battle position, so it's the opposite of Deskbot 5. And the next 2 do that as well. 3 Deskbot 7s, he's the other 10 scale of the deck. What his effect is that makes him so unique is, monsters your opponent controls can't target face-up Deskbots for attacks, and does inflict piercing battle damage. And 3 Deskbot 8s. What this does is, your opponent cannot target face-up Deskbot cards with card effects, so basically you're protecting your Deskbot monsters from monster effects and spells and traps. And then finally, 2 Deskbot 9s. You don't really need 2 to make the OTK work, but in case it fails and you didn't get it off properly, or they had a solemn warning for your Deskbot 9 and they completely shut it down with a torrential tribute, having 2 in there allows you to recycle one of them, or draw into one, or search one with Deskbot 2 another time. And the final card, which is a non-Deskbot card, is 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. What you're going to do with this card is search your pendulums 5, 6, 7, and 8 during the end phase when he's in your pendulum zone. Okay, now onto the spells. Have 3 Terraforming, searches your field spell, and that being Deskbot base, really important card as well, especially when you have all 9 cards of the Deskbot archetype in the field or graveyard. You can shuffle all cards your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard into the deck by banishing all 9 with different names on the field and or graveyard. Really good, like a last resort effect. From there, we're playing 3 Forbidden Chalice. Targets a monster on the field and it gains attack, but its effects are negated. So you could give it to your opponent, so it negates one of your opponent's effects, but gives them attack, especially if it won't do them any good against your Deskbot cards. And for the opposite effect, we have 3 Forbidden Lance. What the Forbidden Lance does, it makes the target lose 800 attack, but it's unaffected by spells and traps completely, which is the opposite of Chalice, which is why I played 3 of that one. Next we play 2 of My Body as a Shield. Now, I know this card is very old and people don't think of this one much when they think of any type of deck at all, but it's basically like a solemn warning of sorts, except in the form of a spell, so I'm pretty sure that's a good thing. And then finally, Two-Pot of Greed, because who doesn't like the draw power that a deck could have? Now, no traps. My extra deck originally was going to be just these 3 Deskbot Jets, but I was starting to wonder if there were other generic synchros that had good effects. So I picked Black Rose, Brionac, Samsara Dragon of Rebirth, Yugioh Guardian, Cloud Castle, and Stardust Charge Warrior. They're all really good generic synchros, and they're all ranged in levels because Deskbot monsters are ranged from levels 1 to 9, and 1 is your tuner, so you can synchro summon all of these. So, yep, that's pretty much it. And there you have it, YouTube. This is my version of the OTK deck of Deskbots. If you want to know how the OTK play works, I'll have a link to his original video in the description. If you want to comment on what you think of it or what the future of this series should be, let me know. Like I did in the last one, to give you a clue for this one, I'll give you a clue for the next deck. I'll give you 3 clues. It was in GX, so think old school. It didn't have any extra deck monsters, and it was a fire attribute. That's all I'm going to say. You'll find out soon once the deck is finished. Only my private messengers who trade cards with me would know who that is or what it is, but I don't want to reveal it now. So, as always, like, share the video with a friend, subscribe if you didn't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.